Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about a fairly obscure topic, one that you may think you know everything about, and that is the topic of bike skewers. You know these little clamps, basically the rod and the clamp that keeps the wheel on the forks and the rear, front and rear dropouts. This is what we're going to talk about today. Now there's much more to this than meets the eye because skewer technology has come along a long way in the last 20 or 30 years, and we're just going to run through this from the perspective of safety, from the perspective of security, from the perspective of aerodynamics, yes, aerodynamics of the skewer, there is such a thing, and from the perspective of weight saving. So where to start? Well, why don't we start back in the day, in the 70s, in the 80s. We used to have these old school skewers, didn't we? You have the old school skewers like this one made by Campag. You know, this on its own is around about 86 grams. 86 grams for one. I mean, you can feel the weight of that is substantial. Now, even in the 90s, we got Shimano making these, you know, old school steel skewers. They've got steel ends left and right. Now, for sure, we can beat that. We can improve upon that a lot. But before you throw these out, I recommend you keep them in a drawer because they are useful. They are useful when you put your bike on the turbo trainer. The force of the turbo is actually clamped onto the skewer itself, and that's in turn clamping onto the fork, and that in turn is clamping onto the hub of the wheel. So all that force is going through the skewer initially and the skewer ends. So if you've got an old school skewer that's not going to break, not going to dent, not going to jump off the rack, then this is what you want. So keep those for the turbo training day on your winter ride bike. Now, in the 90s and early 2000s, we had all of these kind of Chinese makes coming out with their titanium skewers. You remember these titanium skewers, guys, that are around about 40 grams, maybe 40 grams for each, so 70, 80 grams for the pair. But these are actually pretty decent. There's nothing wrong with them, nothing inherently wrong. And you can pick up these for, you know, less than $30 now. Now the problem with them, if anything, although they've got decent weight, titanium shaft, you know, good clamp mechanism left and right, who needs this massive lever on the end? This massive lever is there so you can quick change your wheels in a criterium race when you're being followed by the mechanic. But in all honesty, how many people need to quick change their wheel? In reality, having that clamp on your regular road bike for most riders is actually a liability because you're leaving it open to thieves. How many times have we heard about cyclists who've lost their front wheel? You know, how easy is it to get off that front wheel? Super easy to get off that front wheel. If you've just got a quick release skewer on there, you're basically asking for trouble. Now, assuming you're not going to leave your bike unattended, you can still use it, but most people would buy a more modern one. This is like the Tune titanium. You remember the ends of those are elongated now. So in terms of surface area, it's actually a Chinese copy made by V-Cycle. And yet on eBay, you'll be shocked. These are less than $10, $15 for the set and around about, you know, 30, 40 grams for the pair. As a no-brainer for those that don't leave their bike unattended, a pair of these titanium shaft aero ends, well at least semi-aero, shall I say semi-optimized, still quick release, but clamp mechanism either side. That is a really good replacement for your stock skewers that come with any road aero bike. However, these days we can go a step further. Now we can go a step further in two ways: the security and the aerodynamics. Now what do I mean about security? Well, if you go onto a review site here, I'll give you a link to cyclingabout.com, list theft-proof ways to secure your bike. It will take you through all of the different security skewers that have been released. Now there's no end of different mechanisms that have been invented. One of my favorites actually made by Pinhead. This pair here, made by Pinhead, has got a unique key, and that unique key goes over the clamping end and means that you will always be able to security protect your bike. But it's got another hidden benefit, guys. The other hidden benefit is that it's aerodynamic. It's aerodynamic left and right, front and back. It's aerodynamic left and right, front and back. So here's the thing, guys. When you're going along at 40 kph on your bike, the profile that you've got of the dropout and the skewer in the wind is optimized left and right, front and back. And that's been tested in the wind tunnel by a few people now, and it's surprisingly large for the cost. The actual saving, okay, it's not a large, it's a marginal gain. It's a small gain, and the gain is about 1 watt at 40 kph, but that's still worth a roundabout ballpark figure, depending on, you know, setup, depending on the skewer, depending on the comparison, around about 10 seconds over 40k. Now, we've ranked this on one of our spreadsheets. We've ranked this under this spreadsheet, 32 most marginal gains that you can save. We've ranked them by raw saving and then saving per dollar. And it turns out that the aerodynamic skewer is around about the 8th or the 9th most sensible, most valued saving in terms of what costs per dollar. This spreadsheet, by the way, has been out on Patreon for some time. So you guys who are not subscribing for $2 measly dollars to the FastFitnessTips Patreon site, shame on you. But this spreadsheet's been out there for a while, guys. So this is basically the ranking of all the marginal gains that you can make on the bike from most to least, both in terms of aero watts and in terms of aero saving per dollar. Okay, so let's summarize where we've got to so far, guys. We've got these old school skewers. Don't throw them away, use them on the turbo trainer. We've got these intermediate, like 1990 skewers. They're okay, but not very aero optimized. So we've got our 2000s Tune Airtal, you know, clones, which are really a no-brainer if you're not worried about security. We've got our security skewers, which are made by all sorts of different manufacturers. Don't lose the key, guys. You're going to get shafted if you lose the key. Although Pinhead actually print the number on the key, and you can write to them for a replacement. Actually, you've got one final category before I forget, which is like semi-security, such as the View Speed Skewer, which requires an Allen key to get it off the bike. But of course, anyone could carry that Allen key. And you've also got the Tune Skyline Skewer, which requires a special tool to get off. Anyone could have that tool, but the chance of having that tool is really minimal. By the way, the Tune Skyline, it's aero, it's security enabled, and believe it or not, it's around 20 grams for the pair of skewers. It's unbelievable, really. And one last thing, guys, I've been going on about skewers now for about 10 minutes. You're probably sick of hearing about skewers, but I'm going to give you guys who've made it this far a little free take home. What if you want aero? What if you want security? What if you want weight, but you also want it in a cheap package? You could buy it secondhand. Some of these secondhand on eBay, but I've come across a skewer by Halo called Halo XL. Halo XL hex key skewer set. It seems to do everything in the box for $8.99. Okay, it's not super lightweight, I'll give you that, but it's light enough. And remember, often in terms of speed, it's not the weight that actually holds us back. It's actually the aerodynamics. So this is semi-aero, semi-weight saving, pretty good for security, super cheap, guys. $8.99. I haven't tested it myself, but it looks attractive. Now, this is the mountain bike set. I don't know if it comes in a 130 road set. Somebody will definitely tell me via the link below. Alright, guys, I'm exhausted. You're probably exhausted. That's everything you need to know about bicycle skewers in one short video. So the take-home message, check what skewers are on your road bike. I've given you weight now. I've given you safety. I've given you security. I've given you aerodynamics. I've given you price. What more do you want? Check what skewers are on your bike. I bet you can make an upgrade at fairly minimal cost and definitely enhance your riding. Alright, guys, have a great ride. Until next time. Hey guys, if this video was useful or there's something valuable in here for you, please do FastFitnessTips a favor and share this video with one of your friends or somebody who you think would benefit from it. Thanks a lot, guys. That will help support the channel.